She said, "You're useless without me." Now she's watching me on the news, launching the company she laughed at. I'm 32, and I guess you'd call me a tinkerer. I'm a software engineer, but really I just like to build things. My wife, who I've been with since college, is the opposite. She's an executive assistant at her father's real estate firm, and she's all about appearances. Our life looked perfect, but it was getting pretty hollow. For the last 3 years, I've been living a double life. Day job, and then nights and weekends in the garage working on my real project, a highly specialized AI platform for logistics. I funded it with a $75,000 inheritance my grandfather left me. My wife was not happy about that. She wanted a new kitchen and a trip to Italy. The whole thing blew up one Tuesday. I was deep in code, just cracked a major bug, and I completely forgot about her friend's engagement dinner. The garage door slammed open, and she was standing there, dressed to the nines. "Are you kidding me?" she snapped. "I've been sitting in the car for 20 minutes. You look like you crawled out of a server rack." I had to tell them. My husband stood me up, again, because he's in the garage playing. "It's not playing," I said. "This is important." She let out this scoff. "Important? This? It's a joke. You've wasted your grandfather's money on this nothing." My friends ask what my husband does, and I have to say, he's pretending to be a CEO. It stung, but I was used to it. It's going to work. "Oh, stop it. This is just an excuse to hide from life. An excuse to be a failure." She got closer. "My father was right about you from the start. All potential, no spine. You're lucky you have me to manage our lives. You're useless without me." She left. "Don't bother coming to bed. You smell like solder." That night, something just went cold. It wasn't the failure part. It was I manage our finances line. At 2 a.m., I couldn't sleep. I went to our home office and logged into our joint bank account. And there it was. For the last 6 months, she had been systematically transferring money. 5,000 here, 7,000 there. A total of $68,000. All of it moved from our joint account into a high-yield savings account. In her name only. I didn't get mad. I just got calm. I printed every single statement. Then I went to the garage and opened the small, fireproof safe I'd installed under my workbench. Inside were the papers my lawyer told me to keep before I even proposed. The original bank statements showing my grandfather's inheritance going into my personal premarital account, and the deed to our house showing that same inheritance as the 100% down payment. I added the new, incriminating bank statements to the pile. The next morning, I made coffee. She came down, immaculate as always. "I hope you thought about what I said." "I have," I said, handing her a cup. "I also thought about our finances. I was just admiring your management. Moving $68,000 into a private account is very diligent." She dropped her cup. It shattered. You had no right to look at that." She didn't even try to lie. She went straight on offense. "It's for my security. You're dumping all our money into this fantasy in the garage. What happens when you finally crash and burn? I have to protect myself. I'm entitled to it. My father told me I should have done it years ago." "Your father told you to steal from me?" "It's not stealing. It's marital property. I'm your wife. I put up with your obsession." "I see." I just looked at her. "Well, my lawyer will be in touch. I'm filing for divorce." Her face went sheet white. You can't file for divorce." "I divorce you. You have nothing. You'll be nothing." I left. On my lunch break, I met with my lawyer. He's a shark, but he's my shark. When he saw the statements, he almost laughed. "Oh, this is beautiful. Dissipation of marital assets. Hiding funds. A judge is going to hate this." She just torpedoed her own case for spousal support. "That's not even the main thing," I said. "She and her father. The second they realize this fantasy is worth money, they're going to come after it." "Get ready," he said. "They're not just going to fight. They're going to try and burn you to the ground." He was right. The moment she was served, it was war. This wasn't divorce. It was a hostile takeover. Her father hired a legal team that looked like it argues before the Supreme Court. Their first move was insane. They filed an injunction claiming my wife was a co-founder of my company. I'm sitting in my lawyer's office, reading the document. Co-founder? She doesn't even know what coding language I use. According to this, my lawyer said, she provided invaluable market insight and business development strategy from inception and was forced to sacrifice her own career ambitions to support you. She's an executive assistant at her father's company. She just got a promotion. It doesn't matter what's true, he said. It matters what they're claiming. They're going for the whole thing. The entitlement was breathtaking. The dirty trick started immediately. She launched a smear campaign, texting our mutual friends that she was worried about my mental health, that I was erratic and unstable, trying to paint me as an unfit founder. Then she actually tried to force her way into my workshop. She called the cops, claiming I'd locked her out of her place of business and was destroying company property. Thank goodness my lawyer saw this coming. I'd already been to court and gotten a temporary order giving me exclusive possession of the house, since I could prove she was stealing, and I'd paid the down payment with my separate premarital funds. The cops looked at my court order, looked at her, and told her to leave. She stood on the sidewalk and screamed, "This isn't over. You're nothing. My father will ruin you." But the real, nasty part was happening behind the scenes. I'd been trying to get VC funding. My most promising lead, a firm I'd had 3 great meetings with, suddenly went cold. I got an email. After careful consideration, we had concerns about the founder's stability and the long-term viability under the current personal disputes. How did they even know? My lawyer hired a PI. It took him 1 day. One of the VC firm's silent partners? He has a massive, long-standing business relationship with my father-in-law. He was poisoning the well. He was trying to starve me out. Then the knockout punch, or so they thought. I got a certified letter, a cease and desist. It wasn't from her lawyers. It was from a brand new LLC I'd never heard of. It claimed my project, my 3 years of work, was built on their stolen intellectual property. And as proof, they included snippets of my own code. I just stared at it. I was confused for about 10 seconds. And then that same cold calm from the night, I found the bank statements washed over me. This code was old. It was from a build I'd worked on 10 months ago, back when I still sometimes used a share home office computer. She had been copying my files. Her, or someone she let in. This wasn't a recent act of revenge. This was premeditated. She and her father had been planning this for almost a year. They were trying to scare me, devalue my life's work, make me think it was legally toxic, and then her father would swoop in with a lowball offer. Sell me the LLC for $10,000, just to make your legal troubles go away. It's useless anyway, right? I called my lawyer. They're stupid, I said, a grim smile on my face. They're arrogant and they're sloppy. They just handed us a gun, the bullets, and a signed confession. We didn't just respond. We filed a massive countersuit. Conspiracy to commit fraud, theft of intellectual property, and tortious interference for the VC deal. We subpoenaed everything. Her emails, her father's emails, their server logs, the new LLC's incorporation documents. The deposition was set. This was the payoff. We were in their lawyer's fancy conference room. That giant mahogany table. On one side, her father, looking so smug it made me sick, and their 3 shark lawyers. On my side, me and my shark. For 2 hours, their lawyers objected to everything. Then my lawyer leaned forward and dropped the bombs. He slid Exhibit A across the table. This is the incorporation doc for Logistics Future LLC, the company suing my client. It's a shell corporation, filed 3 weeks ago, and the registered agent is you, sir. He pointed at her father's lawyer. Then Exhibit B. These are emails subpoenaed from your client's ISP. This one is from father to wife, dated 2 months ago. It reads, he's getting too close to that VC. Time to enact a backup plan. Have you got the files? Your wife's response. I have them. The ones from last year. He'll never know what hit him. Her father half stood up. This is admissible, my lawyer said. his voice like ice. It proves conspiracy to commit fraud. My wife was white. Her father was purple. But here's the best part. My lawyer said, the files you stole, the code you base your entire fraudulent lawsuit on. He slid over Exhibit C. This is a copy of a U.S. copyright registration for my client's predictive logistics engine. Data registration, 18 months ago, long before she stole anything. And this, he said, pulling out a final massive binder, is the current code base, the one my client has been developing for the last year. It's about 70% different from the primitive, outdated version you stole. You build an entire conspiracy to steal a blueprint for a horse and buggy, and my client is building a spaceship. You filed a federal lawsuit claiming ownership of code that is legally, verifiably, and publicly registered to my client. You did this to manipulate a divorce proceeding. A U.S. attorney would find this fascinating. You could have heard a pin drop. The smugness was gone. Her father looked like he was going to be sick. This was wire fraud, computer fraud, perjury. These are serious federal crimes. My wife started to cry. Not sad tears. Scared tears. Dad, do something. Their lead lawyer put his hand on her father's arm. Can we take a recess? No, my lawyer said. We're not. We're going to finish this right now. Or my next call is to the U.S. Attorney's Office. I have the packet on my desk. He pulled out one last document. A settlement. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign this. Today. He read the terms. Asterisk, my wife waives any and all claim to my company, its IP and all past, present, and future earnings. It is 100% my separate property. Asterisk, she will return the $68,000 she stole, plus my legal fees for this entire circus, which total $84,500. It will be paid via wire from her father's account within 24 hours. Asterisk, I am awarded 100% of the house and all its equity. She has 48 hours to remove her personal belongings under the supervision of a deputy. Asterisk, a binding, permanent, mutual NDA. If she or her father ever speak my name, my company's name, or this case to anyone, all the evidence of their conspiracy becomes public, and I am free to pursue all criminal charges. We are holding them in reserve. Asterisk, they will, within the hour, file to dismiss their fraudulent lawsuit. Asterisk, in exchange, I agree not to pursue criminal charges, and I'll grant a simple, no-fault divorce. She gets her car and her clothes, and she gets to walk away. Her father snatched the pen and signed. My wife, her hand shaking, signed after him. I stood up, buttoned my jacket, and walked out of the room without a single backward glance. It's been 8 months. The divorce was final in 48 hours. The money was in my account the next morning. I quit my day job, used the returned cash to hire 2 brilliant engineers, and we built, which brings me to today. I'm standing backstage at the biggest tech and logistics expo in the country. My useless project is the keynote. I'm wearing a suit that cost more than my first car. I walk out. The lights are blinding. I'm on a stage in front of a 50-foot screen with my company's logo. I do the presentation. I talk about the AI, the pilot program, and then I make the announcement. As of 9 a.m. this morning, we have finalized a 7-figure contract to roll out our platform exclusively with the largest grocery conglomerate in North America. The room just explodes. Flashes, applause. After, a reporter from Bloomberg shoves a mic in my face. This is an incredible story. From a garage to a multi-million-dollar deal. What was your motivation? What kept you going when everyone must have thought you were crazy? I look right at the camera. I know she's watching. Or someone will send her the clip. I had a former partner. I say, my voice steady. She once told me I was useless without her, and she laughed at this company. She said it was a fantasy, a joke. I pause. The reporters are silent. I guess I just wanted to prove her right. I am useless at failing. Heard from my lawyer that he made a nice little anonymous tip to the IRS about a certain shell corporation's fraudulent activities. Her father's firm is now under a very, very painful audit. Last I heard, she's working as a receptionist at what's left of it. Me? I don't feel anything for her. She's just a line of buggy code I deleted. I'm too busy building my spaceship. My company is all about making sure things get where they're supposed to go